Hi, I am Greg Dale, and I'm an actor-director here in Tokyo. Actually, I just finished shooting a movie recently. I was a shy kid up until my mid-teens, and I had a lot of friends, but it was hard for me to go up to people that I didn't know. And I found that often I was missing out on opportunities because I wasn't bold enough to overcome my shyness. Now, you may not know this, but a lot of actors are shy. The reason is that acting allows us to explore and express parts of ourselves that normally we're too embarrassed to show. So I loved that I could play bold characters or charismatic characters. And by the time I graduated from college, I'd already been in 40 plays, doing everything from small roles to major leads. Acting gave me a lot of freedom, and I never got nervous on stage. So when my best friend asked me to speak at his wedding when I was about 23, you can imagine my surprise when I got up, I went behind the podium, and my knees started to shake, and my throat closed off. And I thought, this can't be happening. I'm an actor. How can I be calm when I'm acting, but when I'm myself, I'm so nervous? And it took me a lot of years to figure it out, and a lot of acting experience using acting tricks, but that's what I want to share with you today. Now, please, let me see a show of hands. Who here thinks that they're shy? Okay, not that many of you. Who gets nervous standing in front of an audience? Okay, well, quite a few. And who really doesn't like public speaking? Okay. I have some bad news for you. You're going to be speaking in front of audiences throughout your life, at presentations, job interviews, college interviews, maybe even speaking at your best friend's wedding. So even if you don't like it, it's something that you're going to have to get used to. And wouldn't it be great if you got really good at it? So let me ask you, what does it feel like? What does your body feel like when you get up to speak? Don't be shy, just yell it out. Go ahead, what do you feel like? What happens to your body?
Shiver.
You shiver, okay? You feel nervous? Yes, anything else? Stuttering, okay. How about the night before? Does anybody feel something the night before? Can't sleep, yes, I know that one. Nightmares, oh wow, that's terrible. There are a lot of lousy symptoms of nervousness. Now, I'm going to tell you why that happens. First of all, we think we're being judged. And honestly, we are. It's just part of human nature. When we see somebody for the first time, we judge them. We look at them and we think, does this person look nice? Do they look smart? Are they young? Are they old? There's nothing we can do about it, so we just have to accept it. But there's something else that affects us, and that is the power of somebody's eyes. So it's not something that we can consciously feel or see, but it's like ultraviolet light or radio waves. It has an effect on us. It's like when you talk to a small child. After a couple of seconds, they have to look away because they can feel that power. So imagine standing in front of 20 people, or 50 people, or 100 people. I've acted in front of 2,000 people. If you stand there with no protection, that power subconsciously hits you, and you contract. You get small, and you get nervous. The power of an audience's eyes is like a Shinkansen slamming into you. So, what can you do to stop it? Well, let's look at what happens to me, what I do when I'm acting, and why I don't get nervous. When I'm acting, I'm communicating with the people on stage. I'm acting a role. I'm in a role. And in a sense, I can block out the fact that an audience is watching. I even forget that they're watching at some point. And this is even more important. I believe strongly in what my character is doing. And I believe passionately in this world and this story. So how does that apply to me being able to stand in front of an audience as myself? Well, I realized that even though I am 100% myself right now, I'm also kind of acting a role. There's something that I want to share with you, something that's so important that I want to impart to you, that in a sense, my role is a guide or a teacher. And my message is so important to me that the message becomes more important than me, the messenger. What I want to share with you, I share with such passion that my passion goes out into the audience and overpowers the power of your eyes looking at me. This is my protection. So, when you have to get up in front of an audience, find something you're passionate about. Even for those of you who get so nervous that your throat closes off or you forget your words, find a topic that you like, that you love, and share that passion with the audience. Energize them, convince them. The fact that you can send out your energy will give you that protection that I feel when I'm an actor, because you too will in fact be acting the role of a guide or a teacher. Now, I don't have that much time, so I'm just going to show you a couple of acting tricks that I use. First of all, you may have noticed that I'm speaking in a pretty loud voice. I actually had to drop the mic so that you could hear it, so that it wouldn't overpower you. So this is called projection. Every actor has to do this. We send our voice to the back of the theater so everybody can hear us. I'm not shouting. This is shouting. I'm projecting. But watch what happens when I speak to you in my normal voice. Okay. This is my normal voice. This is how I would speak to you if I were in the cafeteria or outside in the street. So can you see that immediately the energy drops down? Even my gestures are smaller, my facial expressions are smaller. But look what happens when I project. Okay? My energy comes right back up. And the reason this is important, there are three reasons. One, again, I am sending the energy out. So your power, your energy coming and hitting me is overcome by my energy going out. Two, it actually energizes me. I feel more confident. Hopefully I look more confident. And three, it prevents you from falling asleep. Okay? So volume is very important. Another thing that's important is movement. Here in this TEDx talk, we can move around the stage. But you're going to find yourself in many situations where you're standing still. The problem is that energy is constantly coursing through our body. It wants to move. So if you're stuck in one position, after a while the energy bottles up and your shoulders can get tight. Your hands can start to clench. Your jaw can get tight. So even if you're stuck behind a podium, find a way to shift your body, to move a little bit every 20 or 30 seconds. You don't want to fidget, okay? You don't want to have your hand going like this, but find a way to move. If you're using slides, you can look at the slide, okay? You can even raise your voice a little bit, move away from the podium mic, and point to the slide. All this is not only going to help your body shift that energy and allow it to move freely, but it also is giving a different picture to the audience so they don't get bored. And finally, be careful not to pace back and forth, because that also makes your audience nervous. Third thing, practice. Practice, practice, practice. The more you can do this at home, the easier it gets when you are standing in front of people. It was said that Steve Jobs When he had to give a 40-minute speech, he would practice for 40 hours. So think about that. He was a computer expert back in the days when computer experts really didn't have great communication skills. Actually, he probably delved into computers because he didn't really want to talk to people. But by the time he was 50, and he was so famous, he was giving tons of speeches. So this guy who really didn't have that much confidence in his early life, he had to learn how to do it. And he did it by practicing again and again. If Steve Jobs can do it, anybody can do it. And don't be afraid of taping yourself. Do it in front of a mirror. See what you look like. Be your own best judge. See what looks good on you. Remember that. See what doesn't look good on you and change it. When I have to do an audition, it's very nerve-wracking. I have to stand there in front of several casting directors, the director, the producer. What I do is, if I can get the lines beforehand at home, I will practice those lines. And I'll take myself. So finally, when I stand in front of everybody, I'm much more relaxed and I feel more confident. Finally, I want you to think of your parents or your teachers. Now, for most of you, your parents or your teachers look very relaxed. They look at ease when they're in front of you, when they're teaching, or when they're talking to other people. But I guarantee you that when they were your age, they were probably just like you. Ask them. Ask them how they were when they were a teenager. I think you'll be really surprised. Okay? They worked at it. They chose to get better, either for their work, to be successful at their work, or just for social gatherings, to be able to enjoy talking to people more. Through experience, through practice, through time, they got better. And the same thing will happen to you. It will take time. It won't be easy, but don't give up. Step by tiny step, you will become a better public speaker. You'll look and feel more confident. And maybe, at some point, for some of you, you'll be able to stand on a stage and actually enjoy the energy that's coming from the audience. And to be able to bask in that energy and send your energy back in a constant shared flow. So, challenge yourself. There are no limits. We can do anything if we apply ourselves, because we truly are limitless. Thank you.